What's up, YouTube, and welcome to these 10 tips on Hunt Showdown. This can be either for beginners or experienced players, but I am sure there are maybe some things you didn't know about yet. So if you're experienced, make sure to just check it out. Who knows, I might learn you something. So let's get straight into tip number 1. Alright, so for tip number 1 is how to get rid of the crows in silence, which is actually with a hand crossbow, or a normal crossbow that works as well, with poison bolts. So we shoot it in between the crows and they die. But of course, if you have an arrow, these ones don't explode, like you can see over here. The ones from the bolts, the poison bolts, they explode and they leave like a gas trail. But if you want to get rid of these crows with a bow, it doesn't explode, as you can see. That is because the bolts explode and the arrows, they just have some poison on the tip, which means it will not kill the crows. This will work on the ducks as well, but for the ducks you actually have to shoot the ducks themselves. And here we found some ducks. Now this is also gonna include to shoot the ducks with the poison bolt, as I explained before, but you can also throw fire on them. But of course, fire, it will not light when you throw it in the water, so you have to actually throw it onto a duck. They won't fly away, but as you heard it, it will make more noise than you do it with the poison, as I showed with the crows. Now for tip number 2, of course you have these dog cages, or it can be chicken coops as well. And you can actually get rid of these by just shooting the lantern over here. So of course people will hear the fire burning, but if you shoot it with a weapon, of course they're gonna hear your weapon. So if you wanna get rid of these, you can just throw a lantern in there, that works as well. Or you can throw a decoy, for example, on the lantern, or just use an arrow or a bolt. You can even use choke bombs, just anything to hit the lantern. Now for tip number 3, as you can see, this is also a chicken coop or a dog kennel, and this one is grayed out basically. The one on tip number 2, the one over there, it is red, that means there's animals inside, but when it's grayed out like this, that means that there's no animals in there. Now for tip number 4, now you have these armored, these can also be concertina armored, but they are very weak to poison and fire. You can also throw a throwing axe on them if you have them unlocked, but just a quick poison bolt or poison arrow will kill them instantly as well. They will also kill instantly or die instantly when you throw a fire on them, like a lantern or a hellfire bomb, but of course that will make sound, and the poisons and the bolt, they won't. Now for tip number 5, that includes the doors. You can open them in various ways. Of course you can open them normally, you can open them crouching, or you can just smack them. As you can see, they have different kind of sounds and door opening speed as well. If you want to be very silent, crouch and open the door. Like this, you can barely hear it. Very effective when there's people in the compound and you actually want to get in. Now you can also just open it while standing. It makes a bit more sound. It's also pretty effective when you're, for example, running and you want to get in a building. But if there's nobody around you and you want to basically get inside of this compound or this building really fast, you can just melee it. You can see how fast it opens. There are a couple of ways to know if you actually enter the boss compound or not. Of course, right now I got 3 clues, so I know that the boss is over here, or the bounty. But you can also go in dark side, and as you can see on the top left, it shows nothing. If you move a bit closer, it will flash white. That means that there are no enemies nearby and the boss is here. But when it's flashing red, that means that there is actually other people nearby. So that's a very good way when you're actually killing the boss, for example. On occasion, just go into the dark side and see if the boss is right or not. Now for tip number 7 is how to actually kill the boss in a silent way, because I see quite a lot of people actually trying to kill the boss with their rifle, and that makes quite a bit of sound. So what you can do is just run up to the boss. You can melee it, that is one way of doing it. If you have, for example, arrows or bolts, you can shoot your arrow into it. If I can find Butcher, there he is. So arrows are quite efficient, but for example the Butcher is weak to poison. So as you can see on the health, it's down quite rapidly. That is because if he runs into poison, it will hurt him. Now, also because the bounty or the boss is below 25%, which is actually every 25%. So 25%, 50 and 75, they will go into an enrage mode. And that will actually mean that they take less damage and they do like a special thing, like this boss for example, he threw some fire at me. What you can do as well is if you have a melee weapon, you can melee them. That will take around 12 to 13% of the boss health away. But I will go more into killing bosses and boss guides in a future video. You can see those right over here once they release. So if you want to kill bosses or want to know more about them, make sure to check that out. Now for tip number 8 is how to actually get rid of fire or poison. Now let's say somebody is burning your friend or burning an entryway or just something, or there's some poison over here. Now all you can do is throw a choke bomb, and as you can see it got rid of the fire and of course the poison as well. Now for tip number 9, this might be something not a lot of people know, which is actually with the poison bolts, of course not the arrows because they don't explode, but with the poison bolts. If you shoot it down below like the ceiling, like down the floor, or near a wall, like over here for example, it will actually damage the people who are standing on top of it or on the other side of the wall. Now I put some poison over here. And over here, you can see it as well. Like this damages me. It is going underneath the floor. Can I make this? I will show this once my poison is gone. But this is a very good way if, for example, people are camping in a tower and you just shoot in the tower. As you can see, this damages me as well. Like going through the wall, basically. And now for the last tip of this video. Of course, if you want to check more guides or just useful tips for beginner and for experienced players, make sure to click over here to actually go to my playlist. Or I will pin the playlist as well in the description below. But that's actually to switch your weapons. As you can see, my bow is on slot number 1 and my crossbow on slot number 2. Now if I press on 1, as you can see, they switched. This works with everything. So let's say these are choke bombs and I want them on, let's say my 3rd slot. I go to my choke bombs, I hold on the 3, and as you can see the choke bombs are on 3. This works for everything as well. Alright, and that is the end of the video. If you want to see more guides or tips I didn't really put into this video, which is for example the field of view, don't hesitate to join up on the Discord. There's a link down in the description and I will pin a comment as well for some other useful things. But if you know anything, don't hesitate to join up on the Discord and let me know as well. Now I definitely hope that I helped you out, that I at least gave you a tip what you didn't know about yet. And make sure to write in the comments down below what thing was actually the one we didn't know yet. Well, I definitely hope that I helped you out, and I hope to see you on the next one.